Because we got rid of our entire first floor, we were left with only one option: a complete rebuild. This is our 2-month process, starting with a very big delivery. Once moving the beams, we began to realize the true scope of this project. Aurélie's parents are helping to move these beams. Because of the heavy weight, we'll need a lot more helping hands in the near future. Now first, let's take a look at the floor we are dealing with. The floor exists out of 2 different parts, which is separated by a difference in height. Many of our viewers suggested to rebuild them to the same level, but we won't. Let's visualize the problem. The roof structure is built upon this wall and this load-bearing beam. If we lower the floor, we might find a workaround for the wall, but what should we do with this beam? To this problem, we didn't imagine any solution that we could DIY. To understand why we won't bring this part higher, we'll look at our future bathroom. Because of the angle of the roof, we're always left with a not fit for bathtub zone. It's the zone where you smash your head against the roof every day. The higher the floor, the bigger the zone. We have our preference, but feel free to let us know in the comments what you might have done. We decided to start with the lower part. First step, make bigger cutouts. To start this first section of the floor, we put up beams on the wall as our basis, since it's easier to level those rather than trust our wall cutout skills. In theory, if these beams are even, our entire floor should be level. So we are taking down the top part of the wall. In the previous video, we've discovered that this wall isn't built using the strongest cement mixture. That's why we figured it would be easier to take down the top part and rebuild the wall around the new beams. So that's why my brother is taking down the bricks. And we are cleaning up the bricks so we can reuse them. Good job, Jente. Next, we got to test our theory with the first beam. So first we took down the old beams from the first floor. These are the new beams. Look at the difference. We were quite surprised when we saw these coming in compared to these ones. Way bigger and smells way better. So bit weird, but it's true. So yeah, next up, all the beams need to go in. We have these kind of holes. We put the beams inside and made sure that it's as tight as possible. So yeah, those beams aren't going anywhere. Good starting point. And now all of the rest. En then that side as well. But that's soon. That's soon. Zijn jullie er klaar voor vandaag? Moest zo precies wel. So while my father is assigned with the task to put up the beams against the wall. Very important, because if these wall beams aren't level, the entire floor will be crooked. I'm gonna do the way more important job to cut the beams to size. And it doesn't matter if it's straight or not, since it's gonna end up in the wall anyway. So yeah, basically the more important task. Because the cement mixture isn't too strong, we'll use a product that will harden and chemically bind the big screws within the wall. With all the preparation work done, we could finally start building.
Al blij met het eerste deel? Ja? Flink gewerkt, hè? Moment of truth. Aurélie is the test subject.
Staat hier anders in?
Hé?
Jee!
Hoe voelt het?
Wil je dat hier klein met dat plafond?
Ja. En Aurélie, wat is uw job?
Mensen,
Metsen?
onze vloer water vastzetten.
Nee, dat is al gebeurd.
Ja.
De gaten in de muur vullen, zodat de balken nog vaster liggen.
The next day, we started rebuilding the wall whilst my father and Jens continued with the framework.
We have a floor, guys. So the first part of the floor is finished, but as you might remember, this part is a little bit higher. You can see the beams of our new floor here, but the bricks need to be a bit higher because this part of the floor is like 22-30 centimeters higher. So I have to do something very important. Bricklaying. Yeah, bricklaying again. So we've got the mortar ready, and yeah, then you're gonna see some very, very satisfying bricklaying montage. So the difficulty is to work around the beam. That in itself is already quite a challenge, and especially if you keep in mind that the size of the bricks are different. So yeah, that's quite difficult. Luckily, I'm very experienced already, so not a big deal for me, but probably for first-timers it might be difficult. So the moment of truth, we're gonna take down the support poles. It's time to discover if all of our work was for nothing.
Positief zijn.
That's the truth, Ollie. This is the first thing we built. If this fails, then it's basically doomed. Dat is echt een groot verschil. Ja. Ja.
It was time to face the part we dreaded the most. This intimidating load-bearing beam, or bearer as the pros call it. Our construction expert noted that it had one painful flaw. To carry the weight across this entire span, it needed to be thicker. We had to put up another beam on top of it and sister the joints, basically increasing the strength by bolting them together. But here's the catch. This beam was nearly 8 meters long, and we had to move it into place whilst navigating around the roof structure. Luckily, our family stepped in, turning this tough job into a team effort. You guessed it. That's when we noticed the wall and therefore the previous floor wasn't level. Luckily, we were already rebuilding using our trusty water level. The wall needed to dry for a few days. No problem, because there was a lot more work to do.
So today we are looking after Dax, the dog of my sister. Aurélie, Dax still needs a job, so...
Afleiden.
Distractor!
Zou je dat degene dat ons het meeste afleidt?
Yeah. So today we're gonna start on a very exciting part. And for that, the wooden beams we got from friends of my parents will finally come in very handy.
Ineens 2 of eentje?
Eentje.
With these, we could start blocking or bridging the floor. An extra but very necessary step to limit the movement of the floor and improve the overall stability. Very happy with the results so far, but this was child's play compared to the next floor section.
Look at how beautiful it is. I mean Aurélie, of course.
Aww.
I meant the floor.
Dag, dag.
Je vindt dat heel probleem.
Vind je dat?
Ja. Hoe hè? So we need to put the wooden beams on top of the newly built wall, and we're gonna need those wooden beams since the other beams will be on top of it, and then we can attach it into this one. Make sense? Otherwise we'll explain it in voiceover.
Mijn hand.
So, this is me explaining in voiceover. Instead of attaching the beam on the side of the wall, we'll put one on top of the wall. Why do that? Well, this way we can simply screw the new joints in place. Et voilà!
So for this final part we need to do a bit of puzzling because the window is higher than the floor. So we're gonna put up an extra beam on top of the last one here, and then there's gonna be a small step so we end up above the window. So normally, you see?
Oh, mooi. Maar ja, dat is echt wel goed uitgemeten.
Dus so we're gonna put up a beam here, and then we have a stair like this. It's a perfect way to hide some spots as well, hidden in the floor, which would be very beautiful if it's like hidden behind the bathtub. That way we'll have some sort of a cutout in the ceiling, which makes that the window is still completely free. So that's the next step. So I'm gonna cut out a piece of the wall for the next beam.
The timber tradesman shared a great tip to protect our beams in the future. In addition to the green protective layer, we could apply liquid roofing, a coating that forms an extra barrier against water and moisture. It's a handy little trick, but only necessary for beams that are in direct contact with the exterior walls.
En dat is haar leerjob vandaag. Allee,
Onder andere.
ja, het is dat, want als het alleen maar dat is vandaag, heb je niet hard gewerkt, hè?
Dat weet ik. Dat weet ik al veel heb gedaan vandaag.
Wat?
Broodjes gedaan. Maar ik ga hier keihard aan het komen uit dat gat.
It was my job to measure it and make sure the beam fits, and it fits as long as you don't look in the corner here.
De meer dat je daar zo
Kijk.
voor gaat zitten.
The problem is that I measured this,
Oh nee.
but that was the previous beam, which is still in here.
Maar hoezo meet je ergens anders? Je weet dat we geen 4 rechte muren hebben.
Yes, but we also have the beam for on top of this one, so that's why I already cut out this
okay.
corner, and I figured, okay, the corner over there is the same,
Oké,
but
ik snap
I
het.
totally forgot that the height of this beam is different, so
Ja.
een houten plank hier tussen en dan...
Is nu op de ene fout rechtgezet.
Zolang dat niemand de vloer open doet, ziet dat er perfect uit.
Tot daar ons geen knip- en plakwerk.
Because the ends of these floor joints will also end up in the exterior wall, they will definitely benefit from some liquid roofing magic. Like the first section, we needed bigger wall cutouts to fit our new beams. Again, we started with the beam on the outside first, to check if our basis was level. However, this part is way more difficult. Not only the length of these joints is the problem, but mainly the basis on which we needed to build. The approach to the basis of this frame is similar. Beams on both sides to ensure a floor that is level. But this time, there is a twist. We had to rebuild the wall to the base height of the roof structure, which isn't the same as the beam on the other side, so every joint needs a cutout. Next, the bearer. It's bigger than before, so higher as well. To add to the issue, we've noticed that the bearer isn't level, so guess what? More cutouts, different ones, every single time. But we have to look at the silver lining. Because these precise cutouts, only the old beam will be visible once the ceiling is finished. I know, that's a win.
Nu schuift hem hier gewoon over. I bought some heavy-duty face masks. almost done making the holes the correct size, and then we'll have to wait a bit for the dust to settle. Because that's not an ideal working environment.
With each beam secured, we saw our floor growing bigger. Bit by bit, we started to notice the progress. Putting together the floor structure with these hefty beams took quite some time. It always called for an extra pair of helping hands.
En nu act natural.
Ja.
Wacht.
Wat gaan we nog doen?
Oh, goeie vraag, Aurélie. Wat gaan we nog doen?
Gaan we nog een aantal balkjes ophangen?
Yeah. Normally we put up the big beams with 3 persons, but we're gonna show that we can do it ourselves. Otherwise, you will always think that we always need help from outside, but we can do it ourselves. Right?
Dat gaan ze niet graag horen. Mijn papa en mijn papa.
We need their help, but for this time, we can do it ourselves.
Oké, doe.
The beam is finally in. It took a bit longer than we expected. In fact, the battery of the camera even died. But the point is, we did it by ourselves, but since it took quite a long time, we decided that it might be more useful if we did something else. So we're gonna measure and cut the connecting beams that will fit in between the other ones.
To clarify, we're talking about the bridging blocks.
Goeie balkje daar nog voor, hè?
Ja, perfect.
Zoals jij.
Anders zeg jij nooit zo lief voor mij. De camera staat op en jij
Ik
begint
wilde
te
eerst
filmen.
zeggen zoals ik.
So Aurélie just took all the measurements, which is ideal because I can just continue cutting, and if it doesn't fit perfectly, I can blame it on her measurements. If it fits perfectly, I can just say that it's because I'm very precise. Wouldn't want it any other way.
With some more help, we added the final beams. Whilst Bert, Aurélie's father, and I were working on the bridging, Aurélie and her sister Camille cemented the beams in place.
Bewijs dat jij hier iets in ons huis hebt gedaan, hè?
Zeg.
Ja, maar dat is toch positief?
Ah.
Dat is toch net goed?
Je wil heel dat huis hier.
Jij hebt heel dat huis. Ja. Zonder mij, hè, stonden hier geen muren recht. Lukt het, Aurélie? Nee?
Just like the smaller segment, this floor is lower than the windows as well. We worked around this using the same method, building an extra step, which won't bother us because in the future this might be the place for built-in closets.
The love of my life.
Oh.
I meant,
Ja,
yeah.
dat dacht ik al.
Beautiful. I know that I've been complaining for so long to Aurélie to let me buy a new drill, but Auréli's parents gave me a beautiful present. Us a beautiful present. I'm so sorry, Aurélie. You can also use it whenever you like.
It's for your birthday, so it's okay.
It's a present for my birthday. Coming in very, very handy. And it goes way faster as well.
Ik heb mijn vijs laten vallen. Ja.
Get him?
Ja, ik heb hem. Ja. Yay. Machine goedgekeurd.
Now all that's left to do is cleaning up a bit and enjoy our first floor. Finally. That's the floor for now.
Goed hè, we hebben een vloer.
Oh my god. I have some bad news.
Ja?
We forgot to install the stairs.
Oh nee.
No! But we were well aware. We're just gonna attach the stairs later when we know how thick the walls are gonna be after the insulation. So that's why the stairs still not attached. And then we'll make a new opening for the stairs. So that's why. No worries, we didn't forget. Honestly, I'm really surprised how it turned out. Is toch waar?
Ja, we hebben dat echt goed gedaan.
Ja.
2 months of struggling, countless obstacles, and what felt like a million screws later, we finally got to walk on our new first floor.
Ga je deze week naar de kapper gaan?
Dat is niet normaal, hè? Ik heb echt... Ja, sorry for the people watching. This is a metaphor for how long it took to get the floor up. This is a metaphor, that's my hair.